International relations, geopolitics, as well as tariffs, taxes, and duties are becoming a major element of the election campaign in Poland. Which of Poland's presidential candidates, since they are all vying for the votes of businessmen, will manage to win the votes of the majority of Poles? Today, I took a closer look at the situation. The last 24 hours have caused panic in Rafał Trzaskowski's staff. How to comment on U.S. tariffs on Europe without coming off as too anti-American. We have to do both. That is, on the one hand, strengthen our alliance with the United States, and on the other hand, strengthen the European Union and its ability to act effectively on the international stage. Although Rafał Trzaskowski is leading in the polls, this is a presidential campaign, which of course I am running. This represents the ruling option, which has increasingly lower ratings among Poles. For many voters, the May presidential election may be a referendum of sorts, assessing the quality of Donald Tusk's rule. Not surprisingly, even coalition partners are giving Karol Nawrocki a better chance. Why? My intuition tells me that today the favorite in this election is Nawrocki. If the second round of elections is structured around a conventional referendum for or against the government, then Rafał Trzaskowski's fate is regrettable. The government is unpopular today, and it will be very difficult to build a victory strategy around such an axis. Karol Nawrocki seems to be more credible, and although the left liberal media are trying very hard to blur this image, the pluses of Karol Nawrocki in the media are seen by the ruling party politicians themselves. In this case, the pretext for the journalist's attack was to be a book by Karol Nawrocki. I have read the book, and it is quite sensible. Why is the book under a pseudonym and not under his own name if there is nothing to be ashamed of? This, in principle, can be also understood. If he was the director of a state entity at the time, he could have been afraid because, nevertheless, this figure in the environment of organized crime was quite recognizable. And this sympathy for criminals that we read about in the media? And I don't know if there is sympathy for criminals there. Karol Nawrocki himself is creating a good relationship between politics and business. This is what the Civic Coalition government is increasingly forgetting. Here, at a meeting with Polish and American businessmen, Karol Nawrocki is defending the interests of our country. I am in deep concern that the European Union's retaliatory tariffs will negatively affect Poland's prosperity. First of all, I must say that I am disappointed that we have not been able to build bridges between Poland and the U.S. in this situation while following Donald Trump's campaign. It is I who will become president of Poland, and I want to assure you that I will look at Poland's role in the European Union as a leader in transatlantic relations. Apart from growing support for Sławomir Mencen and his electorate, which largely consists of businessmen, now the main problems for the Civic platform are the promises that Donald Tusk's party has failed to fulfill. Meanwhile, Rafał Trzaskowski says the following. First of all, I am not a member of the government. I was not the one who promised the tax-free amount, while yes, I am positive that the government has clearly announced that this promise will be implemented. This is one of the many unfulfilled promises of the Civic platform. The issue boils down to the fact that candidates promise all sorts of things, and it is known in advance. After all, the electorate knows this, that these promises are not fulfilled, and actually, one does not resent this as much. Probably the issue is to what extent one does not deliver, and in the case of the Civic platform, this principle is significantly violated. But it is with the rule of the Civic platform that Polish people are not satisfied. This is no longer confirmed, not only by Poles, but also by the Civic platform politicians themselves, whose runner-up is none other than Rafał Trzaskowski.